Livestock markets have been on the defensive the past few weeks, and joining us now to talk about it is Derrell Peel, our livestock marketing specialist. And Derrell, to use a term from my favorite brother, why are the livestock markets on struggle street lately?
You know, there's a lot of things going on, really big picture stuff. There's been a lot of concern about global market conditions. China in particular has been the source of a lot of uncertainty. And it's really the uncertainty that's causing the problems right now. You know, we talk about markets being driven by greed, fear, and ego, and at various times one of those emotions is more important than the other. And really it's been about fear for the last month or so in many markets. And that fear, you know, kind of has to run its course. It's based on the uncertainty. We don't know what the reality is in some cases, and so we're probably overreacting in some ways, but it takes some time for that to sort itself out, and then we'll get back to a little more fundamental based picture of the markets.
Is some of this based then on what we've been seeing in the stock market too, sort of parallel?
When you look at the impacts of those global market factors in particular, one of the places they come home in the U.S. economy then is in the stock market, and that uncertainty, the volatility we've seen there. And the stock markets and the action that takes place there is tied very strongly to our commodity futures markets. And so, you know, it sets off a chain of events when you have that kind of volatility, and that's what we've been seeing there. And it's even gotten down then from the futures markets into the cash markets, because again, it affects psychology. It's that emotional part of the market that may not make a lot of sense, or it may not be real rational, but it is what it is, and it takes some time for that to all sort itself out.
There's definitely effects. In terms of beef, what are you seeing with cattle on feed then?
You know, in addition to all of those big picture factors, we've got some other issues right now. You know, we've had cattle on feed inventories above a year ago for many months now, most of this year, and yet we're not placing more cattle in the feedlot. We're just keeping them there longer. Feedlots are reacting to some very difficult and challenging margin situations. That is to say, they've lost money most of the year. And so their reaction to that has been to keep these cattle longer. That keeps inventories higher. But the net effect is now we've got some very large cattle. We've got a growing inventory of extremely heavy cattle, and those are beginning to actually weigh on the market and creating a new set of challenges for us here, I think, in the fall of the year to move past those excessively heavy cattle.
You mentioned fall. Of course, we turn the corner this week to a new season. What kind of things can producers keep in mind, and what do you expect in the months ahead?
Well, you know, in the fall, we've got, you know, in Oklahoma, we've got a couple things going on. It looks like we're going to have some decent wheat pasture grazing conditions developing this fall, so stocker producers are going to be looking to buy stocker cattle. This weakness we've had recently in the markets may provide a buying opportunity. I think producers should consider that in terms of the timing of when they might want to get in. I don't know that it'll last, because on the other hand, once that wheat pasture demand kicks in, I think we'll actually see some recovery in these cash prices. And that's probably what's important for the cow-calf producers, is to maybe not panic too much about what's happening right now. I don't know that we'll fully recover what we've lost in the last month or so, but certainly I expect to see some recovery as this thing stabilizes and as we see the stocker cattle demand and even some new feedlot demand kick in this fall for feeder cattle.
Okay, Derrell Peel, thanks a lot. We'll see you again soon.